can't find anything like what we normally cut. So Mike and I are out today. We're gonna cut some firewood. I've got the Silky Bigboy 2000. Mike's got the Agawa Canyon Boreal 21. How much was yours? 75 bucks. How much was yours? 75 bucks. Let's cut some wood. So the Agawa Canyon, the Boreal 21, has an offset blade where every second tooth is flared. One's this way, the next one's that way, and this way, and that way. And that's what makes the kerf, or your saw cut, wide enough to allow the blade to go through your cut without getting pinched. So the Japanese pull saw obviously only cuts in one direction when you're pulling. The teeth are angled, so fairly smooth this way, not at all the other way. And these teeth are radically sharp. And the way they get around not having to offset the teeth is by making the bottom of the blade here wider than the top of the blade. So as the saw goes down through its own saw cut, it doesn't bind on the top. So it looks like we've got a decent piece of what we think is fir, probably. And yeah, this will be our test for the dry wood, starting with the Agawa Canyon Boreal 21, and we'll time it with the iPhone. I want to be as even as possible using both saws, so I want to use the same amount of, I guess we'll both try to use the same amount of pressure, same amount of speed, not doing one faster than the other, as best we can anyway, right? Okay. There's a split in there, but what'd that give you? 33. Okay. You kind of feel the blade when it wants to pinch. Got to keep it straight.
You're 27 seconds.
Okay. So let's do a pros and cons for these two saws. And number one, as I show my band-aid, we'll talk about safety. This saw, the teeth on the Big Boy are vicious. They're vicious. The way that this closes is sketchy. You got to be super careful. It doesn't lock in this position. So if you put it inside your pack like this, these teeth, you can actually grab these teeth right now with it folded up. Not cool. It's just asking to rip a sleeping bag or a air mattress or your pillow, water bladder. So that's sketchy. Secondly, if you do catch it and you pull, it doesn't lock there, it opens. So you could try to pull this out of your pack and get hooked up. Anyway, this is not safe.
So in terms of how long it takes to cut things, for sure with Jeff, it was about the same times, a few seconds difference. For me, I think I was a lot faster on the Agawa Canyon than the Silky. Through everything we cut, the greenwood and the dead wood, it was very similar cut times. The Agawa Canyon was easier to cut with one hand, and the Silky Bigboy was much easier to cut with two hands, and I think I was faster with this once I started using two hands.
So when it comes to the weight and size of these saws, I mean, size-wise, they're both pack up pretty small. They're both pretty light. The Silky is 3 ounces lighter at 15 ounces, so it is a little bit lighter. In terms of the height, like the thickness is roughly the same, doesn't change much. But one thing that I did notice is that this is 6 inches taller. The Agawa Canyon is 6 inches taller, and in a small day pack, doesn't quite fit. If you put it on the outside of the pack, it sticks up a bit and can catch branches. Hey, Mike? You should insert right there.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I caught Mike in the face with a branch, and it's because this was sticking up above my pack. So, the minor things though, minor.
The Agawa Canyon saw has a 21-inch blade that you can pick up at any hardware store or MEC for a few bucks. And with the Silky Bigboy, you have to specially order this blade from Silky, and that's probably $50 or so. In terms of longevity and cost, at about the same price point, over the long run, the Agawa Canyon is probably going to be cheaper. The thing with the Silky too is the blade does bend as you're sawing too, so there is a chance that you could break it or it could bind up inside the log, whereas the Agawa Canyon, it's a bit harder to bend it, and if you do break it, it's only a few dollars.
So in terms of like versatility of use, this bow saw is limited to the diameter of wood you can cut. You can only cut wood that is, you know, whatever that is, 6 inches until you hit the frame. Then you need to start moving around it to get at it. So the frame does limit you as to what you can cut. So with the Silky, because there's no frame, you could actually cut a tree that was twice the diameter of this blade if you cut from both sides. But one thing that I noticed big about the Silky is where you can reach. If you're reaching in between branches, you can get this into a very small space and go ahead and cut, whereas the bow saw, you need to get the whole frame in there, and sometimes it just doesn't fit. Also, something that came up today that a few times while we were doing our first cuts was when you want to get underneath a log that's close to the ground and cut it from the bottom so the blade doesn't pinch, all you need is this much space to get underneath that, and we can cut up from the bottom, which you definitely can't do with a bow saw.
Jeff, we got to do that like and subscribe thing for YouTube.
Right now?
Yeah.
It's glacial runoff.
So? Are your feet cold? Hey everybody, please like and subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching. Oh, that's cold.